Good morning. It is Tuesday, November 26th, 2019. Hey, Dawn, turn your mic off back there. It is a beautiful day. It is the day that everybody realizes that Lamar Jackson is an absolute freak show. Not only did they beat the hell out of the Patriots a couple weeks ago, not only did they just dismantle the Houston Texans, now, on Monday Night Football in Los Angeles, California, Lamar Jackson, who was only a 3.5-point favorite against the Los Angeles Rams, almost wins by 40. RG3 got some time in the fourth quarter. It's always good to see triple sticks out there throwing the ball around. That guy moves the needle. Baltimore knows. A lot of people turn that game off at halftime, and you can't blame them. Lamar Jackson is making this sport look like child's play. Not only is he faster than every human and pulls away from other humans, but he has this ability to dissect the defense that not a lot of people are giving him credit for, because he's a guy who I think puts in the work behind the scenes in the film room, which is tough to do, by the way, whenever you're Lamar Jackson. Think about this. Michael Vick admitted that he had this problem. Think about this. Your entire life, it doesn't matter what sport it is, football, let's say they were playing tag, hell, kick the can. Lamar Jackson has been the best athlete on every field he has ever stepped on his entire life. He walks into a sport he's ever seen. What are we playing here? Cricket? Bang! Best cricket player on the field as soon as he walks on there. So you would think whenever you have some success, which he had at Louisville, and he continued to grow. And you would think when you have some success at Baltimore, although he didn't have the amount of success I'm sure he wanted. They showed the highlight of him getting clobbered against the Chargers last year at the end of the season. But to think that this guy has had the amount of success that he has had at all levels, and he is still putting in the work in the film room, which is very obvious, by the way. You got a lot of very smart players playing for that Los Angeles Rams defense. Eric Weddle is one of the smartest safeties to ever play the game, and he's making him move with his eyes. He's making things happen and delivering the ball into spots that it has to be. So not only is he the most athletic guy, he seems to be the hardest working guy. He's one of the smartest guys, and he's a guy that can throw the hell out of the ball. What a recipe for your MVP. 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 I'm all the way on the hype train at this point. I don't know how you can't be. I don't know how you can't watch that guy play football and say, hey, that guy makes football better. That guy has taken a football that has changed its offensive strategy over the past few years. From the RPO to the wide open offense, spread, throw the ball. Let's change the rules so fantasy football numbers can go up. Instead, that Ravens team's gone the complete opposite direction. We need bigger bodies in here. And we are still going to make it the most exciting must-see offense that's available because we have a guy who's an anomaly, a unicorn, a one-of-one. They broke the mold when they created him. Let's see other teams try and do this and duplicate it. They won't be able to do it. Lamar Jackson offense. Now, that defense is obviously getting overshadowed at this point. Hold the Houston Texans to 0. Continue Tom Brady and the Patriots offense woes, and then last night made a guy who got paid a lot of money look very, very below average. That Los Angeles Rams offense with kid genius Sean McVay running the thing looked very average, and I don't think it's their fault. I just think that Ravens defense obviously knows what it has on the offensive side of the ball, and they decide we're going to be dominant as well. I'll have an entire ranking of the NFL teams here in just a few moments after we play some Chase Rice, but I have a feeling that this Baltimore Ravens team might be one of them trains that lose the brakes, and in those videos you see, they just clobber and slaughter everything that gets in its way. I said that last night they might win by 40, and they won by 39. It looks like a preseason game for them. It's fun to watch, and the NFL's lucky to have it. It's 10:05 here in Indianapolis, Indiana. We have Tony Dungy joining us in 10 minutes. Tony Dungy. That Tony Dungy, all-pro dad, all-world coach, NBC sports analyst for Football Night in America. And also, he was a part of the blue ribbon panel that voted on the NFL's all-time team, the 100 NFL all-time team. I'll be excited to dive into that brain chat with him. I'm assuming he's feeling the same exact way we are, that Lamar Jackson is just a different animal. And Mike Florio tweeted this out. He said, I'm sick of the comparisons to Michael Vick. Or something like that. Like the comparison to Michael Vick and Lamar Jackson isn't an accurate one because Lamar Jackson's putting in the work behind the scenes. I think Michael Vick is the only comparable person that you could potentially do to Lamar Jackson. Plus, you add the fact that Lamar is potentially learning from Michael's mistakes, which wasn't studying enough film. Man, what a recipe for success they have over there. Tuesday, November 26th. Let's have a good one. Evan Foxy, play some Chase Rice.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not your medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Awesome to watch. Thank you so much, Chase Rice. Being joined by all the boys here, Todd, Nick, Diggs, Ty, Jason McAfee, Zito, Foxy, and Gumpy. Jason McAfee, the only one not wearing our apparel that we will be selling for the Thanksgiving Thank You sale, which starts Wednesday night at midnight. 20% off the entire store. Store.patmcafeeshow.com. We got some good stuff this year.
Great stuff.
I'm pretty pumped. Every year, people have Black Friday sales and then small business sales, which we are a small business and like the Black Friday sale concept and idea. But for us, we wanted it to be a thank you sale to everybody that has supported us all year. We try to put together our best line of things. And starting at midnight, everything's 20% off. A lot of it is custom stuff, though. Mm-hmm. So what that means is it does have the chance to sell out. So if you wake up Thursday morning and things are gone, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. You just got to get there quick with the quickness. And if you buy one of these pullovers that Foxy's wearing right now and Ty's wearing right now, not only is it an incredible design, but it's about a size and a half too small. Mm-hmm. So know that I just made that announcement. I don't want to hear the complaining if you buy it. It's custom made. It's custom made. Some kid made it, literally made all these.
It's very nice, though. You should buy it.
It is very nice, but it's a size and a half too small. So know that when you're buying it.
Correct.
I can't wear one. Right,
because
I would need a triple XL to fit me because I'm a barrel spark plug. But I wish I could. If I was built like Foxy or Ty, I would enjoy it a lot more. Zito and I cannot wear them.
They don't have enough fabric.
What's that? What was that?
They don't
You
have
did a shot
enough
at Pat
fabric.
there?
Yeah, me too, kind of.
Oh, very nice of you, Nick.
Now, by the way, I did place myself in the same conversation. So that's on me. I like Lamar Jackson, though, the way he handles it, the way he handles everything. That Monday Night Football game became a snooze fest strictly because of how good he is. But every time he has the ball, you're like, damn, something good could happen here. 6 drives, 6 touchdowns with Lamar Jackson against another professional football team that trained and practiced against him. With a guy, Aaron Donald, who's one of the best players to ever play football. They just double-teamed him, took care of everything. It's like they have a good concept of how they're supposed to run it as well. So not only is their best athlete making plays, Harbaugh and that staff, Greg Roman and everybody, is putting him in positions to succeed. Like, hey, we'll take care of everything else. You just be Lamar. I think that's a beautiful thing to watch.
I think what I took away was the most interesting thing, that Lamar admitted that last year the transition to the NFL ball gave him problems, and that he was throwing ducks last year, but now in the offseason he's got used to the NFL ball, and now he's fine. And you obviously see that every single time he plays on the field.
Yeah, he's like a natural thrower, but you could see the ugly ball. Like, whenever a ball breaks up, you lose a lot of things, especially in the NFL where you need zip and you need to drop it into a bucket because the defenders are so much faster than they were in college. So now that he's tightened that up a bit, I mean, things are really happening for him. Top 5 passer or something like that inside the pocket.
Also, they said that the Ravens have only punted 3 times in the last couple weeks. RG3 has been in on all 3 of those drives.
We don't need to bury RG.
No. At this point in the game, he's just managing the clock, milking it. You know, I mean, they're trying to punt. You know, they don't want to go out there and hang another 6 or 14 on teams. They're just
Which RG3 could do
and would do. You know, they're trying to be a little bit more respectful. It's gamesmanship.
Hey, RG3 now. He let that thing open up a little bit, Gumpy. As soon as I walked in here, you said RG3 potentially next Chicago Bear.
Whoa.
That's what Gumpy said.
Bear done.
Can't get much worse, can it?
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa.
Mute his mic, Jay.
Jay doesn't know how to do that.
Jay, come
Lamar
on.
Jackson, number 2, by the way, on Pro Football Focus from the pocket. Number 1 is Drew Brees.
Okay, so Drew Brees has nowhere near what Lamar Jackson has out of the pocket.
No.
So now that he's near him inside the pocket, how do you stop him? I don't think you can. I honestly don't think you can. The only thing that can stop Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. Let me run through this ESPN's NFL Power Rankings real quick and see if we disagree or agree with them. And then I'm going to give you my top 3 now and what I think my top 3 will be later. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
ESPN has the Buffalo Bills. How you doing? Welcome to the top 10 at number 10. Good for them. Tough team, plays everybody close, but I think they got a lot of grit up there, and I think the Bills Mafia is excited that, yes, they can throw dildos, and, yes, they can jump through tables, and, yes, their team might win them a game as well. So it's all kind of coming together for McDermott, Josh Allen up there, still in the Patriots division, so that's going to be tough, but good for them getting winning. Number 9, the Texans. Beat the Colts. Ball was out. Ball was out.
Clearly.
It's going to be the Texans or Colts of the AFC South. We all understand that. I like the way Deshaun Watson's starting to play, and the way he bounced back after getting throttled by the Baltimore Ravens is nice to see. Number 8, the Chiefs. I don't fully understand. I think this is all just potential for them, and I think they're going to win their divisions. Everybody knows that. But if the Chiefs get hot, which is potentially going to happen, if they can get healthy as well, boy, you never know what's going to take place with Patty Mahomes. If his knee comes back to full go, Andy Reid's big brain is drawing up stuff, and his Air Force One's coming through the wall like Kool-Aid, man. Number 7, the Packers just got their asses beat. Still at number 7. Let's see if they can bounce back. You said something about LaFleur that made you worry a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like whenever they get down big, he kind of veers back into like a McCarthy-esque playbook. Like last game, they were just whipping it around the field. Aaron Jones, they need to get him involved. Nice little stat here that Diggs pulled up. He's only had one game with 20-plus carries and one reception in the last 3 weeks. During their winning streak, he was averaging 19 touches a game. That's drastically decreased since Devontae Adams has gotten back in the lineup.
Oh, Devontae Adams may be a problem for LaFleur. Doesn't know how to handle all the talent. Number 6, the Vikings, Minnesota Vikings, like what they're doing. Number 5, the Saints, number 1 quarterback in the pocket. Drew Brees, also Michael Thomas, next level. Number 4, the Seahawks. All right, Russell Wilson, that defense is getting hot. Number 3, the Niners. Number 2, the Ravens. Number 1, the Patriots. Let's focus on those top 3. My top 3, as it stands right now, you heard ESPN. ESPN has the Niners at 3, Ravens at 2, Patriots at 1. You have to have the Patriots at 1 strictly because they're the champion. And unlike the College Football Playoff Committee, to be the man, you got to beat the man. They don't believe in that with Clemson. In the NFL, it feels as if they do. And we all know that Tom Brady, and they'll get it clicking at some point. But right now, if we're going top 3 right now, I don't think the Patriots are the number 1 team. I'd put them at number 3. The number 2 team I'd put there, 49ers. And then the number 1 team I'll put is the Ravens. And the reason why is because the Ravens have found something. And although they had losses early, they were playing a much different style of offense with Lamar Jackson. Now, it is almost like they found how to win. They figured it out completely on the offensive side, on the defensive side of the ball. Tucker's going to make kicks, and although Cook doesn't have to punt much, if he does, he's incredible at what he does. So I have the Ravens at number 1, the Niners at number 2, the Patriots at number 3 for the moment. In the playoffs, put the Patriots right back at the top just because I feel like that much respect for them. Go ahead and put the Ravens at number 2 and the Niners at number 3. In my eyes, I think this upcoming weekend's game with the Ravens and Niners, the Ravens might win by 21 points. Let me tell you why. The Niners have been feasting on teams with their offensive line that can't hold up in one-on-ones. They get to third down, and they have 5 down linemen on the defensive side, and they go one-on-one against their offensive line. As soon as they find a weakness, like Bulaga gets hurt or something like that, they just crush him on third down. They get off the field, punts. Jimmy G gets the ball. The Ravens' offensive line is too legit to quit. Even if a guy got hurt, I think the Ravens' offensive line is going to be able to handle it. I think if you bring pressure, Lamar Jackson's going to make you miss or dump it over the top. I think right now the Ravens might win by 21. Even though I like the Niners and they're my number 2 team in the NFL right now, I just think that's how hot the Ravens are. Will they remain that hot through the rest of the year? We will find out. We will also talk to a man on the other side of the break who I assume his big brain has thought about all of these things. It is currently 10:14, and we have living legend Tony Dungy on the other side. Minnesota Gopher grad, by the way, Tony Dungy, to talk about all things football. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. It is Tuesday, November 26, 2019. We are being joined by an absolute legend, a Super Bowl champion, a man whose brain is just as big as his heart. He runs the All-Pro Dad organization, which helps men become true leaders of their family. He was in Indianapolis for a long time, Tampa Bay for a long time. He was a Steeler. Now you can see him on Football Night in America on NBC. He was also a part of the Blue Ribbon panel, which selected the NFL all-time team, which continues this evening or Friday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network with Rich Eisen, Chris Collinsworth, and Bill Belichick. Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Dungy.
What do you say, Pat?
Coach, how's it going? How's life? How is everything in the Coach Dungy world?
Well, I'm doing well. We just landed in Atlanta. We're actually broadcasting the game Thursday night, Thanksgiving game, Falcons and Saints. So fired up and having fun.
Well, I think you do a great job on television because not only do you have an incredible resume, but your ability to break down nuances of things is a lot of fun to watch. Speaking of breaking things down, that Blue Ribbon team or panel that had to decide the NFL all-time team, how was that whole process? Who else was in there? And I'm sure you enjoyed the hell out of that. Am I right?
It was a lot of fun. It was challenging, though, because you're trying to compare people from different eras where statistics aren't the same, don't mean as much. You've got to figure out who was dominant in their era and compare them to who was dominant today. It was great to be on with some wonderful people. Bill Polian, obviously, well. Bill Belichick was amazing during the whole process, a great historian. I think you're seeing some of his personality come out on these shows. A lot of the writers who've been covering the league for years. But it was difficult trying to go across generations and compare people.
That's always the conversation between Jordan and LeBron and players from the past and players of now is like, well, if Jordan had the same training and technique practice that the guys have now, well, how much better would he be? And for the guys of today, going back to then, well, if a guy was 6'8", 350 pounds, let's assume he would have been a dominant offensive tackle back then too. It is very difficult to do that.
Yeah, and you look at like Don Hudson, who caught 1,000 yards worth of passes when the rest of the receiving core in the league was averaging 250 yards or 300. How do you compare that to what Jerry Rice did in his era? And those are the conversations we had. It was pretty incredible.
Well, I think you guys have done a great job thus far. I'm enjoying that show because and you don't get a chance to see Bill Belichick act in the way that he's acting in this. He's breaking things down from the history of the game. You're talking about a guy who's had the most success in the history of coaching football. To listen to him be a host of a show has been fantastic. Let's pivot now. At what point do you put Lamar Jackson on the NFL's all-time team? Is that now or is that next week?
If we go back, I had Robert Griffin III doing the same thing. If you remember, he came in, took the league by storm, was making these 70-yard runs, and just saying, how do you defend that? And Lamar is playing outstanding. He's playing fantastic. But let's let him stay healthy, number one, and then number two, let these pro coaches. Here's what I think is going to happen. Pat, how normally in the spring college coaches come to visit your OTAs and get ideas on how to do things and plays. You're going to see all these defensive coaches go visit Alabama and visit Auburn and visit Clemson. And how do you guys defend these read options? How do you defend the RPOs? You're going to see a different set of defenses next year because the Ravens have taken everyone by surprise with this offense.
That is what happened to RG3 and what happened to the Wildcat. But I assume Michael Vick had a long run there of success. How do you stop something that is almost very difficult to prepare for? Because it feels like Lamar Jackson can go off script. And when somebody goes off script and can make a lot of plays, that's hard to prepare for, right? Because you're training and practicing for if this, then this. But with Lamar, it's a complete different animal. Am I wrong there?
You are absolutely right. It's like playing against Barry Sanders. You do everything right. You have a guy in position to make the play. He can't make the play because he's not a good enough athlete, and then Lamar goes 40 yards with something that you had technically played right. So that's the problem with him. And the other thing I didn't think he would be able to do this quickly is throw the ball so well, so accurately, and with so much poise from the pocket. I expected to see these runs and him making plays, but now you leave people open because you're crowding the line of scrimmage. He's hitting them at about 90%.
That's incredible. It is something to marvel at every time he steps on the field. He's made the game very exciting to watch. And on the flip side of last night's game, this LA Rams team looks completely dead, Tony. I mean, Coach, they look bad. What is the big difference from last year whenever they were in the Super Bowl? Now, granted, they didn't perform great, and they might have got away with one of pass interference there in New Orleans. But last year, they took the world by storm. This year, it seems like they're just one big dud, Coach. What can happen in 365 days to have that big of a change in a team?
They have lost their mojo on offense, and I really think it starts with Todd Gurley. That was the hammer that they had. You had to kind of defend him like you defend Lamar. We've got to commit everything we've got to stop the run, and that opened up some easy throwing lanes. Well, now they're not getting that, and Jared Goff has to create those passing plays, and it just hasn't happened so far. So I think they've got to get their offense going again and get specifically that run game.
I think they're done for. I don't like the. I don't like the.
Hey, I heard your comment about the 49ers. Don't sleep on the Niners now. I don't think this game is going to be a 21-point game next week. I'm looking forward to seeing it because there are some athletes on that 49ers defense.
You love that. You love defense. You love good defense. I think the 49ers team, I didn't give them enough respect or credit early because they hadn't played anybody. Then they should have beat the Seahawks if you make another kick, and they've had a couple big wins. But this Ravens team, I think the Niners defense really feasts on teams that don't have good offensive lines. This Baltimore Ravens offensive line seems to be legit. You see things differently?
No, they are. This is going to be a great matchup because you've got a tremendous offensive line going against all those number one draft choice defensive linemen. I think people, if you love football, you're going to love to see this. Now, the thing I think, believe it or not, gives San Francisco a chance. This Monday night on the West Coast, coming back, losing a day, they're going to have to get that energy back. They're a young team, and I think they will, but the 49ers have a day advantage on them.
That's big travel too. I mean, they have it at home though, I believe, which is good for them, and it's tough to play.
They didn't get back until early this morning, and now you've got to kind of rest up and try to get going. So, and San Francisco gives you a lot of problems to prepare for. Their offense with Kittle back, they're able to run the ball now. It's going to be a great game, I think.
I think so too. I'm excited for it. Those are my top two teams right now. My number 3 team, and I think I only have them there because of how dominant their defense has been and their special teams, but their offense hasn't been able to click just yet. I assume they'll be able to figure out by the playoffs. Rex Ryan said, I would love to coach against this New England Patriots team. Now, granted, I don't think he's paying enough credit to the defense or to their special teams, but what do you think is going on in New England on that offensive side of the ball? Is it a lack of a weapon, and do you think they'll get it figured out by the time whenever it all really starts to matter?
No, I think this is what they're going to be. They lost their center. They struggle. Their left tackle's been in and out. They don't have big play receivers. This is a team, and they won a Super Bowl back in 2000. I want to say 2001 or 2003, just like this, with a running game and great defense, opportunistic special teams. They know how to play that way. And, Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl in Denver that way with great defense, good running game, and timely passes. I think that's what you're going to see. Home field, if they can keep home field advantage. Now, if they lose another game and they have to go back to Baltimore, I don't think there's any way in the world they win in Baltimore. But if they get Baltimore up there in New England, they've got a chance.
How big is home field advantage for the defensive side of the ball?
Oh, it's huge. When the other team has to go on a silent snap count, that creates a lot of advantage for your defensive line. Weather conditions for New England, they know how to play in that sloppy, windy weather. And just being at home, resting up, having your fans there, the energy you get from them. Our Super Bowl year, we got down 21-3. If you're on the road, that's hard to come back from. But when you have your crowd behind you and energy, it makes a big difference.
Okay, so big news this weekend for your school, University of Minnesota. College Game Day will be traveling to Minnesota, Coach. What are they in store for, and how excited are you that the Gophers are all the way back Ski-U-Mah?
Well, first time ever for College Game Day to be there. I think that's awesome. I've been following the team. The energy in the city and on campus has been up all year. The Penn State game was phenomenal. And for those that don't know, this Minnesota-Wisconsin game played for Paul Bunyan's Axe. It's huge every year, no matter what the records are. But now with the chance to make some big noise, it's going to be a great Saturday.
What do you see from Coach PJ Fleck. He is an interesting guy, man. I've gotten a chance to chat with him. He makes me want to run through a wall. Have you gotten a chance to meet him and chat with him at all?
You would, you would love to play for him, and you'd be his type of guy. That's what he's looking for. He's done a great job. Somebody who would dive into a river for him. But no, he's done a great job getting the excitement level up, recruiting well, and not only that, but coaching well. They are a well-coached team. So I'm really in Coach Fleck's corner, and he's done a fantastic job.
All right, Coach, before we let you go, I assume you're a very busy man. What was it like to coach Peyton Manning? Was that a pain in the ass, or was it awesome?
It was awesome, but you had to be prepared because every day he was going to come in with questions. Can we do this? Why don't we do that? I'd like to do things this way, and you better have answers, and they better be good answers. But once you did answer him, then he was going to be 100 miles an hour for you. He was going to be the leader, the guy who pushed everybody else. And he was a joy to coach. He was tremendous, and I have so much love and respect for him. Unbelievable.
Well, Coach, I think he would say the same exact thing about you. I didn't get a chance to play for you, but your words and your wisdom resonated through the building past your time there. I enjoy watching you and Rodney and Tarico Sims and Florio every Sunday night. I think you do a great job. And that NFL all-time team at 8 o'clock Eastern on NFL Network that you helped select has been a blast to watch as well. Coach, I can't thank you enough, boss.
Hey, thanks, Pat. Great to be on with you.
Hey, would love to chat with you again, by the way.
Let's do it.
Did you do the Kickers and Punters of the all-time team as well?
That was, hard to really get a grasp on because you had some kickers who, like Jan Stenerud, who were kicking at 60% when everybody else was kicking at 40%. What does that mean? And how good was he when no one practiced special teams? So those are the kind of things that Coach Belichick brought up that you had to take into consideration.
I love that. He wasn't even trying that. Coach Dungy, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Hall of Famer, thank you. Hey, he's a good guy.
Great
Wealth
guy.
of knowledge. I forgot to add Hall of Fame into his introduction. I wonder if he heard that. That's why I had to slip it in there at the end, Hall of Famer. I wanted to ask him about his Hall of Fame speech and Hall of Fame weekend and all that. Because those speeches, some of them are very good, but some of them a little bit long. I wonder if there's ever going to come a time where the Hall of Famers are like, can we get like a sample of what your speech? Because I think some guys should be given a lot of time.
Yeah.
Where I think some guys, they should tell them like, hey, let's just maybe expedite some things. You know what I mean? Maybe move some speeches to social instead of, you know what I mean? It's like a 9-hour show. Mm-hmm. And whenever you get the premiere, the place is empty almost at that point.
It's kind of like an award show. They hand out some of the awards before the show goes live.
On the red carpet.
Yeah.
Now, granted, if I make the Hall of Fame, which will never happen, but if I did, and they put me on the pre-show, I'd probably be a little bit upset as well.
Can I ask you, because he brought it up, and then Nick brought it up this week, and I thought it was very interesting how the Patriots have no big play receivers, but every other year, everyone talks that Julian Edelman is a Hall of Fame wide receiver.
He is.
So, but they have no big play receivers?
He's a slot receiver. Have a brain, Diggs. He's a move the chains guy. He is a guy that is a weapon on the field. He's also a multi-time Super Bowl champion and a Super Bowl MVP. I think there's a lot of people who have a much worse resume in the Hall of Fame who would say that, hey, yeah, he deserves to go in the Hall of Fame, but he's not the guy that's going to take the top off the building, which I think is what everybody talks about whenever they say big play. Philip Dorsett, by the way, was a guy that was doing that for them. He was out because he got hit in the head there on that one touchdown that he got slaughtered on from Julian Edelman, who threw another touchdown, by the way, the multi-purpose guy. But for me, I think they are missing a weapon. That's why I think there was such a disagreement whenever they decided to let Antonio Brown go from the coaching staff and potentially the craft staff that said, hey, we got to get this guy the hell out of here because there is nothing but terrible PR coming towards us for this. And Bill Belichick's like, well, we don't want a player that we need a player. Maybe. That's they need a guy though.
They must think
they had a guy, by the way, and Josh Gordon. They got rid of him. I don't understand.
They
that.
must think pretty highly of N'Keal Carey or
Harry.
Yeah, Harry. Sorry. If they got rid of both those guys and he was hurt the whole time, they must have been thinking like, all right, well, he's going to be our guy when he's actually 100% and ready to go.
Had a great back shoulder catch there for a touchdown, but then he dropped one on the sideline as well, which I assume is going to happen. He's still a rookie, so it's a little bit of a feel out process. But man, that offense. Just because of how good the defense is, I think is the reason why it's become such a good conversation because they're 10-1 and that offense is yet to show up really yet. I'm excited to see them get it going. I think Josh McDaniels will. We got Kyle Van Noy, I believe, in the second hour. Mm-hmm. That guy's electric. Watching him just chirp too on the field, by the way, has become awesome to watch. Now that we got a chance to chat with him, they've done pretty good, I would say. Hey, great chat with Tony Dungy there.
He's a legend.
He is.
I'm from Indianapolis, I know, but man, they don't get any better than him as a person and a leader of a team.
Yeah, the all-pro dad thing he does is pretty cool. Yeah. They fill this the entire Colts facility with guys who are trying to learn how to be better dads and better leaders and things like that. I mean, that's how you really make the world a better place, not only on the field but off the field. Now, that Football Night in America show, I watch it because we travel and it gives you a rundown of everything that happens. They have a very smooth operation over there.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoy it a lot. And that all-time team, Bill Belichick as a host is incredible to think about.
He's great.
He is. He's outstanding.
Do they put his mic gain like all the way up?
He's a whole different person on there.
Really?
Yeah, he's a whole different person on there. They asked me to FaceTime in during the Kickers and Punters one. I forgot to email back. Like, I got an email invite, and I was like, oh, this would be cool. And then for some reason, I didn't respond. And now we're 2 weeks later, and it's like, it would be awkward if I answered that.
Hey, still need me?
Hey, I was wondering if you needed me to FaceTime in. It's just, sometimes you forget those things. Sometimes things like that can just slip through the cracks. And now, granted, that shouldn't have. I mean, it's an all-time team. It shouldn't have slipped through the cracks. That's on me. I got a lot going on. But if me and Bill Belichick were to talk to each other, I would enjoy that a lot.
Are you on it? Are you on the all-time team?
No.
You sure?
I don't know.
Maybe that's why they're asking you to call it?
Oh.
Man, do you know how mad the old whites would be if I was on the They'd be so mad, dude. Now, granted, nobody in the history of the game was able to do what I did. Someone's called me the best ball kicker of all time. I mean, these are all things that other people say I wouldn't say.
Have you ever had a conversation with Mr. Belichick?
Never. After the game, it wasn't convo, though. It was, I just shook his hand. I said, just wanted to shake your hand, man. He goes, Pat, thank you, or something like that. So he said my name, and then he walked off. I think he complimented me a little bit, and then he just walked off. Yeah. But him and Vinatieri always. Yeah. So I was always in the
vicinity.
I was always in the picture, but I was never in the convo. You know what I mean? And that was every time Vinatieri would go back there. And then there was this one game. It was the year we were 2-14. I think we went out there and play, and we came back late against them. We came back late again. Like, it got very close late. Like, for no reason, out of nowhere, it got very close. And I was walking with Vinatieri to go shake people's hands, and Belichick did the head coach thing, and then he came straight to Vinny, and he said, like, I was scared to death it was going to come down to you. Oh. And it was, like, one of the biggest compliments I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. I was like, Vinatieri, good for you, man. And Vinny was like, yeah, I wish you would have. Like, that's how Vinny is, super competitive. It was kind of a cool thing, though. But never talked to him. Talked to Josh Sitton yesterday about how neither of us think we would have made it. It's true, though. Newsflash. What is this, a guitar there?
Just gritty blues rock stomp with punchy riffs.
And Snow J? No.
Newsflash. Now you can manscape without fear thanks to Manscaped, who is #1 in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. You will feel fearless and fresh with Manscaped line of products, starting with the Lawnmower 2.0 with proprietary skin-safe technology. This trimmer won't nick or snag your nuts. Plus, the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. I mean, why wouldn't you put deodorant on the smelliest part of your body, Zito?
Oh.
That would be your feet. You should use deodorant on your balls as well. It's time to man up and stop using the same trimmer on your face as you use on your balls. That is just nasty. Thanks to Manscaped, manscaping accidents are finally a thing of the past. Feel fearless, feel fresh, feel fine when you use the right tools for the job this time. Your balls will thank you, and so will your wallet. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AMERICA at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code AMERICA. Notable news with Nick is on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show on this Tuesday, November 26th. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. It is 10:44 on this beautiful Tuesday, November 26th. I said that I thought the Ravens were going to win by 21, just in a fit of excitement for Lamar Jackson. And the internet's starting to come after me a little bit for it. I stand by it. I think the only reason why the Niners win is because that D-line, and they bring a linebacker down, can get pressure on the quarterback on third downs, which is the money down, which is how all of football operates, is via third downs. And they dominate on third downs because they put everybody in one-on-ones. And if you have a weakness on your offensive line, they expose it, they sack, they put pressure so you can't make an accurate pass. You're off the field, you're punting. Jimmy G and the boys and Kittle, one of the most explosive players in football, get the ball back, bang, you're off and running. I think with the Baltimore Ravens, that offensive line is very good, very talented. And not only do they have 5 offensive linemen, they have 8 because they have 3 tight ends. I think that could be the kryptonite for the old 49ers. I could be wrong.
49ers defense did struggle against Kyler Murray, though.
Well,
twice.
And that offensive line, from what I've been told, is pretty good at one-on-ones. They might not be great as a group yet because they're kind of a couple pieces coming together, and they might be now, but early in the year. But in one-on-one situation, I've been told that offensive line is good in one-on-ones, which is why on third downs they were able to make some hay because it's what it is it's one-on-ones. And whenever you have one-on-ones on the O-line and you can beat them up a little bit, that affects everything. That affects the secondary because the secondary can sit because they know that the quarterback isn't going to have a lot of time. So Richard Sherman, who's a very smart, athletic, and talented football player, he knows that ball is either coming out quick or it's coming out high or off, so that you can eat off of that. It all goes off of pressure off a quarterback. So if you got a good offensive line, you're in a good spot. Russell Wilson, also a mobile quarterback they struggle with. Kyler Murray, mobile quarterback they struggle with. I would assume Lamar Jackson, that offensive line, could be a problem for the Niners.
I think it's so demoralizing, the fact that Harbaugh has that statistician constantly feeding him probability.
25-year-old, right?
He goes for it on fourth down all the time. I mean, that's got to be hard because you usually you're like, oh, we got him the fourth down, they're going to punt. That's got to wear down a defense.
So when I was in the Pro Bowl in Arizona, the Baltimore Ravens were our coaching staff. And in our first meeting, it was in the locker room, which was just like an open conference room in a hotel. J.J. Watt was sitting right next to me. Hi, J.J., Pat McAfee, nice to meet you. He said he followed me on Twitter. Yeah, it was very nice. I'll follow you back. Nice. But J.J. didn't know that was going to be an entire week of basically an interview to learn everything there is about a guy who just was running roughshop on the NFL and had been doing it his own way and lived in a log cabin. I mean, I had a lot of intrigue by this. So that was something that was noticeable for me. There was Andrew Luck was there, obviously teammate, so we chatted a little bit. Getting a chance to meet the greats was awesome. But Harbaugh came in and addressed the team for the first time. And he said, we are going to play football how we all have wanted to play football for a long time. And he even looks at me directly. He goes, Pat, we're not going to punt much. We're going to go for it on fourth down because that's what everybody wants to do. Everybody's just kind of scared to do it. This is the Pro Bowl. Pat, do you care? I was like, we just lost to the Patriots by 50. I'm in the middle of my vacation anyways. I don't care. He's like, good. I didn't think you would care. I'm happy you don't. We're going to play football how we want to play football. And now he has taken that approach that he had in that Pro Bowl locker room, has added a 25-year-old genius with analytics to back him up for it, and has become very successful. I would argue that not every team should do that, but if you have a player that can make something out of nothing, probably a good idea to go on 4th and 3, 4th and 2, 4th and 1 when you're averaging like 4 yards a pop with the guy. That's probably the smart move to do, but that is a fun team to play for whenever you're doing that now. That energizes your entire team. It was like last year when Frank Reich went for it in overtime against the Houston Texans. It was on like 4th and 4 or 4th and 5 or something in his own end. He went for it. They ended up not getting it. They lose because the Texans kick a field goal in overtime. The entire Colts locker room after that game said, we learned about our coach in that moment, that he believes in us, that he wants to win just as bad as us. It's a mindset, it's a mentality, and not only Harbaugh flipping and transforming that entire team to adapt for Lamar Jackson after they weren't able to succeed with him last year as much as they thought they should. Not only that, but going for it, believing in his guys, putting faith in there, that builds up that locker room, and they be humming over there in Baltimore.
Can you believe that 1 year ago, people in Baltimore were calling for John Harbaugh's head
because he didn't put in Flacco
before the switch happened? Like, that's how much of a difference Lamar Jackson has made, not only for him but like that entire city.
Harbaugh gets rid of Flacco. Elway hates Flacco. Flacco's disappeared. Now Lamar Jackson, bang, we're all the way back. And why be less when you could be more? And that stadium, when it's going, was the most entertaining stadium I'd played in. They do the white stripes, Seven Nation Army. But whenever that's 70,000 deep, it's awesome. And they are a vicious fan base. I mean, they reminded us about when the Colts left Baltimore in a Mayflower before I was even alive. They let me know they were not happy about that. I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't do a damn thing. Savage move, by the way, just hopping on some trucks a day after telling TV you're not going anywhere in the middle of the night and leaving the team in the dust. But I like that it's happening for Baltimore. They deserve it.
You brought up the comparisons to Vic from Lamar, which a lot of people have been doing. But the way Lamar has transitioned is two key things, I think, the difference between him and Vic. Vic was the first overall pick. Lamar was passed on by every team, including his own, so he's always got that chip on his shoulder. And then Vic was shoehorned into a West Coast offense. They were like, we're going to put you in here. You got to make these throws. You're not going to run. They literally, Harbaugh, to his credit, changed the entire offense for Lamar. They've catered it to him.
Yeah, and I think they've also – now, granted, I think Lamar willing and wanting to learn even more does potentially come from everybody skipping on him.
Yes.
Does potentially come from at the combine them saying, hey, you're going to be wide receiver. I think all of that does come from that because he just wants to almost make everybody eat grumpy for what they said. So I like a good spiteful individual. I mean, I do it every day. I mean, I can't find enough chips to put on my shoulder. In that draft night when he interviewed with Deion Sanders and he was shown backstage with his mom watching all these other bums get drafted in front of him, he knew what was going to happen, and I'm happy he's putting into work to make everybody wrong. I like it a lot. He's fun to watch. Anything we missed this first hour, notable news with Nick?
Biggest news of the day I have to talk about, Thanksgiving thank you sale launches Wednesday night.
Our biggest sale of the year, stored up at McAfeeShow.com, an entire new line of merch. Midnight, Wednesday night, the beginning of Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving thank you sale, 20% off the whole store. A lot of custom stuff in there that can sell out. Please get there quick.
Bengals coach Zach Taylor, so they're going back to Andy Dalton.
Hilarious.
Best interest of the football team.
Hilarious. Best interest of the football team would be you resigning. That guy stinks. That team is terrible. Yeah. I mean, it's almost comical whenever people talk about a team playing the Bengals where you even want to give them any hope at all. You're like, against the Bengals? They're terrible. People are saying, you know what people have been saying? People have been saying, you put that Clemson team with Trevor Lawrence, you fly them up there at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. Wow. They're saying that the Clemson Tigers can beat the Cincinnati Bengals. People are saying that a college team can beat the Cincinnati Bengals. I didn't say it. No. People are saying it with a straight face, though, that Bengals team that is lost from top to bottom, the players look miserable. Yes, they're earning a paycheck to play a kid's game, but they know that the people in charge got no idea what they're doing. People are saying that team would lose to a college football team. I didn't say it.
No, a lot of people are saying
People are saying College Game Day should go to Cincinnati for the Bengals versus a college team. People are saying, I would not say that, but people are saying that Bengals team is a lost cause. And I feel bad for Dalton. He was literally saying on trade day whenever they decided to bench him, like, hey, they didn't even give me a chance to get traded the hell out of here. Andy Dalton did not say, I don't want to leave. Andy Dalton said, they didn't give me enough time to get the hell out of here. Now they're going back to him. What a hilarious predicament. And you know who doesn't deserve it? Bengals fans. Cincinnati. Exactly. Oh, Big Richard Daddy from Cincinnati who cheers on his Bengals through thick and thin. He doesn't deserve how bad they've been forever. That's the way it goes.
I was there this weekend at the game, Bengals Steelers. And the reason I was there is because one of my buddies has season tickets. His dad has season tickets. He's giving up the season tickets because he's so over this team and over the ownership. I guess when Dalton was asking to be traded and phone calls were coming in to be traded, that the owner was in Europe just during the trade deadline, so that no one was there to sign off on any of these trades.
In the best interest of the team, we're going to put this quarterback. In the best interest of the team, they need to hop on one of Mr. Irsay's Mayflowers and move that thing the hell out of Cincinnati away from that owner. They got no shot. Anything else?
Adam Schefter is saying that the Lions had interest in signing XFL QB and former NFL QB Josh Johnson, but the XFL denied the move.
Okay, this is what's so funny.
Classic.
See, why are you laughing at this guy? I think this is terrible for the XFL. This is not a good precedent to set if you're the XFL. Already, it has been leaked this salaries that you're giving to players, right? Not great. Already, it has been leaked that, things might not be coming to fruition from the football. There's new rules and things like that. Now, granted, Great TV deal, good business people at the head of it, so it's not going to end up like the AAFL. But I don't think you should set the precedent that if players want to play in the XFL and the NFL calls them that they can't go, because I think the whole entire purpose of the XFL, yes, it's an alternative to football. Yes, it's whenever there is no NFL, but you would think it'd be like a feeder system to the NFL. The guys that don't get enough reps in the NFL that can't prove themselves in training camp and in OTAs go to the XFL to get some more reps to get on camera. It is not a good precedent for the XFL to be like, hey, you know what? It's not our fault the NFL wants you. You're stuck right here in a league that hasn't played a single game yet and has no chance, even though an NFL team, kind of, the Lions want you. You can't go. I don't think that's a good precedent. I don't think it's smart for the XFL. I would assume that conversation has to happen behind closed doors, but that's not a good way to get players to come play in your league, especially if they're worth a damn at all. That's just not a good idea.
Would he be caught up in a bunch of like legal red tape if he just like retired or was like, all right, I quit? Like, if you guys aren't going to let me go there, I'm just going to retire from the XFL and then go sign with the Lions.
I have no idea. New league. The CFL used to block people from going to the NFL. But the CFL has rules on how many Americans they can have on the team and everything like that. It's a whole different game. The XFL, though, living in the same world as the NFL now, that's a bad precedent. And I don't think it's smart. The new balls came out yesterday. I guess they're awesome.
They do look cool.
The league's going to be awesome. I'm excited for it. I just don't think that was a smart decision early. 10:55, hour one wrapping up. Big thanks to Tony Dungy. Kyle Van Noy in the second hour to talk about the Patriots, that defense and special teams being dominant. And how come old Tom can't get it turned around? We'll find out. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. I have no clue why.
vacation, 2 hours of magic, let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
That's right, Chase Rice. Good singing there. Did that for free, too. Pretty done with him. But I'm thankful. He's on tour. If he's in your town, go check him out. You're listening and watching the Pat McAfee Show wherever you may be. We thank you. I am in Indianapolis, Indiana with the boys Todd, Nick, Diggs, Ty, Jason McAfee wearing some merch. That a boy, Jay. Jay, helping the business. Okay, thank you. At Zito, at Viva La Zito, Evan Foxy and Gumpy is on the phones, 1-833-622-3331. If you'd like to have your opinion and voices heard. We have a sale launching tomorrow night at midnight, our Thanksgiving thank you sale. 20% off the entire store at store.patmcafeeshow.com. Whole new line of stuff. I think there's a lot of good stuff in there, to be honest.
Great.
A lot of custom stuff, though.
I didn't think there was any way we would outperform last year as far as how the line looks, and we blew it away.
I think so, too. A lot more colors, too, involved in this whole thing, which I am not for, but apparently the people are. So I'm excited to see how it all does. Very thankful for everybody that put in the hard work to make it happen. Midnight tomorrow night, store.patmcafeeshow.com, 20% off everything. Last night, Lamar Jackson stole the show on Monday Night Football. I assume the ratings for the second half of that game were dreadful because it's getting to the point now where when Lamar Jackson plays football, it's blowout city, not only because of him and how talented he is, but because of that defense. We'll be joined by Kyle Van Noy of the New England Patriots in 12 minutes. I'll ask him about their thoughts on playing Lamar Jackson, how he thinks anybody can stop Lamar Jackson, and what's potentially going to happen in the future if they play Lamar Jackson again. Kyle Van Noy and that defense in New England should not be overlooked as well. They have been absolutely dominant, so dominant that the ESPN actually has them in their NFL power rankings as the number one team in the NFL. Yes, they're the reigning, defending, undisputed NFL champion, but they have not performed on all three sides of the ball. I think everybody could say that. They won a couple games big early, but the offense hasn't found their mojo. They've been led by defense and special teams. And as Tony Dungy alluded to in the first hour, they have won Super Bowls in the past this way, so I don't think anybody should be alarmed or think anything different. So I respect the fact that ESPN has them at number one. In my eyes, Ravens are the number one team in the NFL right now. They might not be later because they could have peaked too early and got too hot. You always want to have your hottest team going into the playoffs, but there's nothing they can do about it. If you get hot and you get rolling, what do you want to do? Slow it down? No way. You keep it going. Lamar Jackson has been fun. I think he's the MVP.
Yeah.
I think Lamar Jackson's the MVP. And if you look at the stats, everybody will say Russell Wilson, potential MVP as well out in Seattle. And I think for far too long, the conversation about Russell Wilson this year has been that he's been carrying a team with no talent for a long time. But now I think that defense is starting to heat up as well. And when your defense is playing well, that means more opportunities for the offense. That means everything kind of comes together. I think the Seattle Seahawks defense is going to be something that is good going forward. I was going to say fierce, but I don't know. I just don't like the way that word sounds coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Hey, that's fierce, dude. I think I'm out on the word fierce. But anyways, we look at the MVP favorites, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson. Look at their stats, shall we? Passing yards for Lamar Jackson, 2,427. Very good.
Yeah.
As a guy that was known as a running back, as a guy that self-admittedly didn't know how to throw an NFL ball just last year, went to work this past offseason, has become an incredible pocket passer, and with his arm has been able to do great things. Hollywood Brown is a weapon. Willie Snead's getting hot too. I mean, good things could happen. Russell Wilson, 2,937 yards already. So almost at 3,000 yards. Completion percentage, 66.8% for Lamar Jackson, 67% for Russell Wilson. Very close. Touchdowns, 24, both of them. Interceptions, Lamar has 5. He threw like 3 in one game, though, I think.
Against the Steelers, yeah.
Yeah, and that was back whenever they had him throwing 40 times.
Yep.
That was before Greg Roman and he really knew what was going on. What's that?
I believe he hasn't thrown one in 6 weeks.
Hasn't thrown one in 6 weeks. Russell Wilson only has 3 interceptions on the year. Rushing yards. Here's the determining factor, though. Lamar Jackson, 876 yards. Russell Wilson, 271. Russell Wilson is known for being a running quarterback, and he has 4 times as many, 876 rushing yards, probably more than most running backs in the NFL. And he has also passed for 2,427. He has 6 rushing touchdowns versus Russell Wilson's only 3. I think right now it is a runaway, a pass away, a throw away, a spin away, a Lamar Jackson blowout for the MVP, personally.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think there's a question, really. He's going to end up probably passing for 3,500 yards and rushing for like 1,200 maybe. I mean, that will never happen again unless he does it again next year.
And it's interesting because there's been quarterbacks that have tried to play this way for a long time, and he's just that dude. Every once in a while, a player will come through and will change the game. LT did it on the defensive side of the ball back in the day. You had to pay your left tackle. Peyton Manning came in and started just being this methodical creature at quarterback where he's going to dissect the defense and break down the play before it even happens. He changed the game. Tom Brady is a guy who's going to be the most competitive guy. He's going to look like a bag of potatoes at combine, but he's going to come out and be the greatest of all time. Everyone, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, you name it. There's players that just change the game for the better. I think many people would argue Ed Reed did the same on the defensive side of the ball. Bob Sanders there for a bit did it. Dwight Freeney did it. He came in here and talked about how an undersized defensive end, he changed the game, how now they're chipping a lot of guys. There's people that just trailblaze in a sport. And I think Lamar Jackson's doing that. But I'm not sure we're ever going to see another one like this. I have no clue if we're ever going to see another quarterback that's anywhere near what he is doing right now. It's so much of him being him that it's going to be hard to coach another person to do it. NFL is a copycat league. It's just the way the league works. If one player, you see Philly happening everywhere. I mean, in football, it's just the way it goes. Somebody who's a bad organization is going to try to do what this is doing. And it's just going to fail. It's just going to fail mightily, and you're going to have to adapt, which the Baltimore Ravens did. They adapted to Lamar Jackson. Somebody's going to try to just do exactly what they do, and it's just not going to work.
He's really starting to piss me off, to be honest.
Why?
Because I want to say so many bad things about him, but
because he's a Raven.
He's erasing everything bad that I could say about him.
Yeah, he's good throw. He can pass.
Nice kid.
Team first. He's entertaining. He celebrates with his team.
All I got left is maybe they'll figure him out in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. This is the only bad thing I'll say about him. He's starting to get brave. Running the ball, he's starting to lower the shoulder, and he's starting to look for contact.
He took 2 very big shots in that first quarter and then bounced up, though. That's his thing is he bounced up. But if he takes one of those shots and he's slow to get up, everybody with a microphone is going to be like, told you. Like, that's exactly what we've been waiting for. That's exactly what we've been waiting for. I assume, just like last week when he was choosing to run people over when they were up 20, Greg Roman is yet again today going to be like, hey, we just can't have this. Like, what? We won by 40. Like, we don't need you running over or getting in these big shots with these D linemen. There was a D lineman that picked him up and threw him last night. He said, hey, we don't need that. For the good of our franchise, not just for your sake, but for the good of our city, our franchise, everything, we need you to be as healthy as possible. But we can't take away what makes you great, which is your running back idea that you could shake people and things like that. We just need you not taking those monster shots for the good of a city, Lamar, for the good of a city.
I thought for sure they would take him out before they did. I thought he was in there too long. I mean, they were killing them, and it's like, does he really need to go this series?
It is interesting because in college, like, you have to blow people out for the college football playoff committee to have respect for you. So, like, Tua playing, and everybody thinking, like, Tua should have came out before halftime, by the way. That was in the second quarter. Everybody's like, why Saban still have him in? And I guess Saban wanted him out. There was an entire conversation that happened that got covered. But a lot of people are coming after Saban. It's like, it's the first half. And this guy is trying to win a Heisman. You're in 5 right now. You're not at 4. You got to put on a show. I thought first half is crazy, but for him playing in the fourth quarter when you're up that much was pretty wild to me because all you need to do is just take one. But let's assume Harbaugh's smarter than us, by the way. He's the one who decided to transform his entire team to fit for Lamar Jackson. Let's assume he's smarter than us, but boy, a couple of those shots you look at, you're like, please, please, please. I'm really like watching. I really like watching you play football. Please get up, Lamar. Please get up.
Just to reinforce how we probably will never see anything like him again, even though a lot of college teams are going to try it. Tony Dungy alluded to it in the first hour. Like, this is all defensive coordinators are going to be doing in the offseason. Like, all right, how do we scheme to stop this guy?
They're going to figure out who stopped him at Louisville, right? And they're going to go to that school, and they're going to be like, I think his senior year he got stopped a couple times. But that Louisville team didn't have 3 tight ends and 5 great offensive linemen. It's like, I have no idea how you're going to, because it's not just an RPO. He's not running your standard RPO. He's changing the game completely. And when the RPO happened, listen to defensive coordinators talk about how bad they hate it and how this isn't football and how your linebackers are supposed to read and then they can't read. If they read, they go behind them. They change the game and makes everybody mad. Defensive coordinators have the worst job in football. You just have to adjust to the rules. You have to adjust to what the offense wants to do, and you just have to react and hope that you can put a Band-Aid on whatever it is. And with Lamar, I don't think you can put a Band-Aid on it right now. It seems like it's just going to bleed out.
When they have Mark Ingram going the way he was going last night, too, they're virtually unstoppable. There's no way to defend that RPO or that read option because it's like it's a double-edged sword. No matter who you're committing to, like the other guy has a great chance of burning you.
And you know what? It feels like this team likes the big moment too. Like they like the primetime game, which is all the playoffs is. Playoffs is just primetime game after primetime game. It feels like that team likes the big moment. Like they're a show, like an entertaining team. They know it too. And obviously everybody's pitching for him to be the MVP in that roster, in that locker room, which means the roster respects him, which I appreciate a lot. But man, it feels like nothing can stop him. Now, granted, we're talking to a guy in 3 minutes now, that is going to be tasked with the job of stopping him, and they weren't able to stop him the first time they met. Let's get to a break. We'll get to that on the other side. Kyle Van Noy, New England Patriots linebacker, who's having a hell of a year, and is an electric factory on the microphone. He'll be with us on the other side. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Can't wait to chat about Lamar Jackson and how big of a nightmare that has to be to prepare for with Kyle Van Noy. We haven't done. Is this live or? People are saying it. We haven't done. People are saying it. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Joining us now is a man who's been on the show before and has been electric. A man who is a part of a defense that has been absolutely dominant. A two-time Super Bowl champion. Looks like he has a very fresh fade with a fresh beard, and I think I heard a baby. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Van Noy.
There we go. I like it, baby. Thanks for letting me in. It's Daddy Daycare today. So I got my son. We're hanging out. It's Tuesday, so it's the off day. We're vibing.
What is your son's name?
Trey Legend.
I love that name. That is one of my favorite names I've ever heard in my entire life. I might change. I want to name my kid Midas or Maximus or Doctor or a lot of things.
Yeah, you speak it into existence, Pat. You're on the right track.
Dr. Legend McAfee would be a hell of a name, Mr. Van Noy. Okay, let's talk about your Patriots team. You guys have been dominant on the defensive side of the ball and special teams. The offense is still finding their groove. What has been the message inside the locker room? Is it just win however we need to win? Or is the defense like, yo, we know that the offense hasn't found it yet. They will at some point. Let's just keep doing our thing.
Yeah, I think you said it right there. It's find a way to win. It doesn't matter. In our organization, we believe that at the end of the day, stats don't really matter. All that matters is a W in that column. And that's what we strive for each and every week. Offense is getting better each and every week. The defense is holding strong. The special teams is holding strong. We know Tom Brady's the GOAT. We know he's going to get those guys going. We're just going to continue to keep doing our part. I mean, anytime you have guys like Hightower, Jamie Collins, myself, and then our boy who's the best corner in the league, Stephon Gilmore, who's playing out of his mind. We're blessed to be in the position we're in, and we hope to continue that path to greatness.
He had more receptions than Amari Cooper this past weekend. It was the mindset. Now, granted, the Patriots had Revis in the past too, where it was the same thing. Like, hey, we'll just let him take care of a guy. Is the mindset like Stephon Gilmore is going to eliminate their best guy? We just know that.
I know every week I just put an X through that receiver, or I shouldn't say an X. I just put a lock around him now. Gilly Lockett, man, he's playing really well, and anytime you have a player like that who doesn't speak, it's insane. But I feel like I get the most out of him. He definitely talks a lot to me, so that's good. But I'm happy he's on our team. He's playing really, really damn good football. I mean, dang good football.
You can say damn. You just can't say the shoot. The shoot. The shoot one. By the way, the FCC rules make zero sense to me. It makes no sense to me. 2019, you can't say oots. Also, things that don't make sense to me is Matthew Slater. That guy somehow is around the ball at all times when it comes to special teams. What's he like in that locker room?
Great leader, an even better person. To me, I think he deserves a golden jacket. I call him Gold Jacket. He does.
I respect that.
I think he's one of the best teammates, leaders there are in the NFL. I mean, his charisma and his willing to sacrifice for the greater good of the team each and every week is amazing. You should see his speeches. They're pretty epic. They're up there with yours.
When's he do them? When's he do them? After the game in the locker room?
Yeah, after the game. And he says some insightful, well-received message after the game, each and every game. Doesn't matter if we win or lose. His perspective on life is unreal and unmatched. And I'm really glad I get to learn from him each and every day. He's an impressive human.
Wow. So he's just as good off the field as he is on it because he changes the game in special teams.
Yeah, I would say he's better off. I mean, the magnitude him and his wife do in the community, his relationship with the man upstairs and him preaching Christianity is amazing. I haven't met anybody like him. really good human.
Pretty big season for him coming up, by the way. A birthday around the corner for the old Jesus. Pretty big day.
Yeah.
Speaking of you guys, now it's post-Thanksgiving almost. Bill Belichick has said that his teams need to be humming post-Thanksgiving. What can you guys fix to become even better?
He goes, well, football after Thanksgiving is real football. That's my best Bill impression, but that sounds about right.
Hey, he's been good on this NFL all-time team. I've only seen a couple clips with him. I haven't got a chance to watch the entire thing. He's hosting a show on NFL Network. Do you guys watch that?
No, but he raved about it. He said that he did a lot of research, a lot of he said it was one of the most memorable opportunities he's had in a while of being able to go back and look through players and talk nicely about players. And he really said he enjoyed it, and I'm excited to look at it. I haven't had time to. Obviously, but when I get the chance, I want to see if I make that list.
Well, I think the thing, it's a lot of old heads picking the people, by the way. So I think there might be a little bit of a bias towards the younger generation. We talked to Tony Dungy in the first hour. He's a part of the panel that put it together. He talked about Bill Polian. I didn't hear any other names, but I'm assuming it's going to be a lot of old heads making decisions, as it should, by the way. They've earned the right to do that. But there could be a little bit of generational bias. We'll see how that works. You get a chance to hear Belichick speak on a daily basis. For a lot of us, the only time we hear him speak is in that press conference. So getting a chance to watch the clips of him like breaking down things, you're like, damn, this guy really is everything that we've heard about him.
Yeah, he's definitely a football savant. Anytime he's teaching, I'm definitely listening and taking notes. I mean, hopefully I can get my Pop Warner team when I'm done playing ready to roll. Them fundamental football, they're going to get right. And, I'm going to be saying a lot of the things Bill says. And, it sticks in your head, especially I think on the last episode when I was on with you, you're out in the middle of the game and you're sitting out there like, damn. He just went over that 2 days ago, and it's happening in the game. And, it's a blessing to play for him and learn from him. And I'm just excited to continue this path to where we're going and where we want to be.
Yeah, I could fathom that you guys feel that the train's starting to roll, especially with how dominant the defense has been. It's like in the Do Your Job segment where they talked about that 2-point conversion, where he talked about it like a month beforehand. He was like, hey, let's get some work on 2-point conversions. We might need it at some point. Oh, to win the Super Bowl is when actually we need that. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense. Have you ever met that Ernie Adams guy? Is that his name?
Yeah, Ernie, boy. Mr. RoboCop. He always got them big old glasses. Looking fire, boy. He's always looking fire on the sideline whenever you see him. Doesn't say much, but man, is he just full of knowledge. Yeah. I mean, he knows every rule, every situation, and he teaches. If you go up to him, he'll spit. To some people, to the normal person, it sounds like Spanish if you don't speak Spanish. But if you're a football guy and your football IQ's up there, he'll break it down to where it's football 101, and he's a really good teacher. I'm glad I get to chit chat with him each and every day. He definitely has helped me out with a lot of situations.
Okay, has Ernie Adams seen anything like Lamar Jackson? Last night, I don't know if you got a chance to watch it. Last night,
he's balling, bro.
Balling. And you guys obviously had a little bit of a struggle with him. He's an anomaly right now that has been different than anything I think I've ever seen in the league.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think he's bringing a whole different swag to football. I mean, you can see him. I love his attitude. I mean, after the little dances. Yeah. I mean, from little things like when I think they had a false start penalty, he threw the ball in the dirt because he's chasing greatness, and as a player I respect that because you want that on the other side. When I line up, I want to beat you, and he's trying to do the same, and I love that intensity he brings. He's bringing a whole different feel to the NFL, and I'm happy for him. He's giving kids a chance.
Yeah,
You know,
I
think it's awesome.
I think that conversation he had with Harbaugh on the sideline is something that's going to be accurate for a long time. He said, you know how many kids are going to wear the number 8 and play quarterback because of you going forward? He's completely changed the game. Now, a human that has changed the game is obviously Bill Belichick. Now, you guys didn't have success with him against him the first time. I said, let's assume if any coach will be able to figure something out after playing somebody one time, going forward the next time they potentially run into him, it's going to be Bill Belichick. What is something that you don't have to give away anything. I'm sure you guys haven't even talked about it yet. But what is something that he exposes in a defense that nobody thinks about until it's game time? Is it how fast he is? You can't tell how fast he is on film? Or what exactly is it?
Well, it's just guarding an extra person. He's an extra, he's not only a good quarterback, but he's an extra running back in the run game. And it's hard to account for that because that's an extra person. So, when they're running that speed option with an extra puller and a fullback out, so you have to defend that. Plus, he can keep it or pitch it. It's a tough deal, and you got to be on your A game. And unfortunately, we weren't that night, and hopefully we'll be the next time if we see them down the road. But I'm going to say the Bill Belichick answer. We're focused on the Texans, baby.
Okay, you're focused on the Texans. Your game against the Cowboys was the highest rated game since 2007 the NFL has had. I mean,
what do you think about that? That's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, it's insane. I think that's what happens, though, when you have the Patriots, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Kyle Van Noy taking on America's team, Jerry Jones, which has been very hit or miss all year. I think that's why people were intrigued by it.
Yeah, we're the nightmare now. America's nightmare, baby.
Hey, there was a couple phantom tripping calls there that you guys will definitely take to the bank and not care about, but the NFL had to apologize for.
Yeah, but there was also holding calls too. So.
Okay, Deshaun Watson coming up, the Texans. The ball was out at the end of the game. You'll see that on film. Darius Leonard knocked the ball out. It was clearly sitting in his hands. The ref didn't overturn it. It was. You'll see it on film. I'm sure you've already seen it.
Yeah,
I've
seen it.
Yeah. The ball was out. I mean, the coach should have got the ball. Probably would have walked down the field, scored a touchdown, game winner. No big deal.
Yeah.
But what have you seen from the Texans, and what are you guys looking forward to do?
I'm looking forward to the matchup between Gilly Lock and D-Hop. That's going to be amazing. I think, our defense is versus Deshaun, and a good test for our special teams and then our offensively going against their defense. It's going to be a really good game Sunday night. I mean, hot damn, I love Sunday night, baby.
Hey, is there anything to that? I talked about how the Ravens, they seem like they enjoy those primetime games. There's some players that you've met them, you've seen them, that whenever the lights come on, everything kind of gets a little deer in the headlights. It feels like primetime is something that happens every week for the Patriots.
Yeah. Man, it's a blessing to be on TV for the family, that's for sure. My family doesn't get to many games, so it's a blessing that they're able to see all the way on the West Coast. So I'm always excited to play on primetime for them. To try to make a play for my mom and my dad. And, honestly, for some players, I mean, I think, when you're Tom, every game is prime time. And that's kind of how our team rolls. We kind of take that feel from Tom Brady. Every game's prime time. We know everyone's watching, everyone's paying attention to what we're doing. So I don't think we'll have a different approach. But, I love playing on Sunday night. Get Chris Collinsworth juiced up, his little slide-in intro. You got to get it.
Well, Chris Collinsworth and Bill Belichick are now co-hosts of a show together. It's going to be interesting to hear what he has to say. I bet you he's going to be saying, when I was talking to Belichick during the NFL All-the-Time team, he told me this. It's going to become an entire sell. You guys are so fun to watch. Hey, quick question about life going forward here before I let you go and enjoy your off day. Will you let Trey, legend, Van Noy play football?
Ooh, if that's what he wants to do, man, I can't hold him back.
Okay.
I believe in that. If your kid wants to do something, I don't see why not. I have a quick question for you.
Go on.
How exciting is it to get such good responses from the mass of the nation about your college football entry, bro. You're killing it. I gotta say it.
So
I'm happy for you. You're doing a really good job on it. You're killing it.
That means a lot. And by the way, a lot of people have been saying a lot of very nice things. Boy, there's some people that say some very terrible things to me. I mean, there are some people who are not for the brand.
No, for sure not. Just like they're not for Booger or for Joe Buck. There's some haters out there, you know. That's why they are where they're at, and that's why you're where you're at. So you're doing good.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm having a lot of fun. The thing about it is, everybody's scared to mess me up, right? So I don't want to ever compare myself to Lamar Jackson as a human, but I am an anomaly in this sports broadcasting world, right? So everywhere I go, all they ever say to me is WWE does this, ESPN's been doing this, DAZN and Westwood One of them. We just want you to be you. I'm like, okay, you said it. I mean, I'm going to do it. So if I'm on top,
hell yeah, that's so tight.
It is.
That's tight.
It is. And at some point, I assume it's going to change, but at this point, it's like, hey, what the hell all can we do before I get yelled at here? That's kind of where that's what I'm thinking.
I know.
You know, it's kind of
just
interesting.
keep jumping in lakes and rivers or whatever else. Yeah, there we go.
And so my lady and I were on some vitamins last night, and that video popped up again on her thing. And she said, did you even think that, like, that could have been 1.5 feet deep. Like, you couldn't see through that. There could have been rocks or sticks or anything like that. I was like, you know what? Funny. I hadn't thought of that until right now. There could have been a log underneath that thing just sticking right up. I could have been pierced right in the face. And I know. Not even a thought of that. And by the way, ignorance is bliss. I'm a very dumb individual. It's been helping me this whole time.
Hey, keep on, baby. You're doing really well. And by the way, Did you get some love with another suit? I mean, was your tailor there around giving you another suit? How did that work?
No, I had to walk like a mile back to the studio, by the way. They had a couple of towels for me, but I couldn't put the towel on because then you look soft. You know what I mean? You can't look soft walking through other people. So I put shorts on. The thing was, I don't normally wear cowboy boots, but in that water, couldn't get the boots off of the feet. Took me 15 minutes to get the anchors off of my feet. It was a bad scene over there, man. I almost broke an ankle.
Did you almost sink then? Were you?
Oh, yeah. So they told me it was 8 feet. First of all, I was told by the captain of the pontoon that it was 8 feet. Okay? So when I jump in, you see me start doing this because I knew that my boots were going to start being anchored. So I'm like, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. And then my feet hit the ground, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I stand up, and it's like right here. I'm like, oh, this was not 8 feet. I mean, this was very low. Yeah, I could have died there. It would have been a legendary.
Yeah, you can't trust that. You can't trust that captain no more. He should be fired.
They call it sailgating down there, which is a pretty cool thing. They have all their pontoon boats out in the river, and they just get after it on the Brazos River. I think it's a pretty good idea. I assume there's going to be more belly flops in the future down there.
That's what's up. Hey, Pat, I got to go. I got to go shoot my Vibing with the Van Noise on YouTube right now. So I got to go. I much love.
Hey, great plug right there. What is Vibing with the Van Noise?
It's my YouTube channel. So what I do is I bring teammates. I'm a big food person. We go to mom and pop shops in Boston, and we basically shout them out. Because I feel like chefs and owners are just like football players. People can talk trash about us. We never can say anything back. They're the same way. People can give them stars, say their food sucks, and they never get to say anything. So I give them a platform to be able to speak.
All right. Well, check out Vibing with the Van Noise. Can't wait to watch you this weekend.
Watch out, Guy Fury. I'm coming, baby.
I'll see you, ladies and gentlemen. Two-time Super Bowl champ, Kyle Van Noise. Vibing with the Van Noise. I love that.
Good name. Great name.
I'm a big fan of that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
How hard is it, though, by the way? Patriots, you're supposed to hate him, and then they got guys like that on the team. Then you hear about Slater, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, just being this incredible human. Then you watch Tom first time, and you're like, yeah, this guy's an alien, but I can see how he is the greatest of all time, how much he commits to it. It's hard not to just respect the hell out of what they got going on.
By the way, Gilly Lock, also a very cool nickname.
Yeah. I wish my name was Gilly Lock. Stephon Gilmore is Gilly Locking, folks. Dino.
Yeah.
All right, I got to read this ad. We got to get to a commercial, and then we're going to hit the phones. Pat from Boston, Trevor from Arizona, John from New Jersey, Robert from Montreal. Oui. Bonjour, Robert. Did you hear that, Zeke? You can't do that.
Close.
Also, people are saying segment in Zach from Florida who wants to talk about old Ducky Hodges. Quack, 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 quack. If you've been thinking about your home security, there's no better time to get it than right now. This week, Simply Safe is offering listeners of this show the best deal of the year. You'll get 25% off. That's a quarter. Any new system plus a free HD security camera. You hear us sing the praises of Simply Safe Home Security on the show every single week. It's the best in home security, period. With Simply Safe, you'll get everything you need to keep your home safe. Entry sensors, motion sensors, a smart lock, video doorbell, security cameras, plus 24/7 professional monitoring with police dispatch. That's 3.5 times faster than anybody else. It's the home security we trust, so if you've been waiting or on the fence about getting a security system, don't wait. Wait no longer, mon frere. Go to simplysafe.com/Pat to get 25% off your system, plus a free security camera. This is the best deal you'll ever find in home security. Order before Monday to get this exclusive offer. 25% off and a free security camera. Simplysafe.com/Pat. Simplysafe.com/Pat. Lock that house down before the holiday season. By the way, people be stealing things off of porches from Amazon. A Simply Safe home security camera right on the porch there. It'll turn on immediately. Bingo, bango. Put them on the news. Put them on the internet. Now we got our gifts back from the Amazon thief. 11:37, we'll be back on the other side. People are saying phone calls, wrapping up an incredible Tuesday, November 26th. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday, which means it's another week of getting to watch Evan Foxy's incredible editing job with another documentary brought to us by our friends at Roman titled Pat McAfee, the hardest working man in sports. Last week was a blast.
But what? Excuse me, Sam. It is not me that is the teammate in the fourth person on Team Champa, but I am a man who can't wait for the most savage and legendary evening in this business's history. This morning I was on college game day, hopped on a plane, flew to the best wrestling city on planet Earth, Chicago. I stopped by Wrigleyville. I went to the Sears Tower. They said it's the Willis Tower. I said it's the Sears Tower to me. Damn it. I walked into the Allstate Arena and I said tonight is going to be the greatest night in sports entertainment history. And if you're new to the NXT universe, you need to know that not only is what's going to happen tonight in that 41-foot, 21/9 cage, this crowd might steal the show. Welcome to NXT TakeOver War Games, brought to you by the hottest brand in the business, NXT, let's go.
Yep. That was a hilarious Saturday night. You can catch the entire thing at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. And if you're watching right now on our YouTube, hey, we appreciate the hell out of you. Leave a comment below. Watch the thing. You can also win, I believe, we're giving away something, aren't we? What are we giving away? What's that?
Giving away merch from our new merch line.
Giving away merch from the new merch line for best comment. I believe we were going to give away a mattress, but that got cut. Ooh, yikes. That's
Probably
tough.
on me.
We'll be back in about a minute and a half. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. It is 11:42 Eastern Standard Time, 8:42 Pacific, 10:42 Central. In all the other time zones, you have a clock as well. It is now time for a segment that everybody loves. Ladies and gentlemen, people are saying.
People are saying.
Yes, they are. What are they saying, Ty?
People are saying is brought to you by Manscaped.
Whoa!
What?
Just a little reminder there. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code AMERICA.
Huh. Love that code. All right, let's get to it. What are people saying today, Ty?
People are saying that Rutgers needs to fire their athletic director because he will not give Greg Schiano whatever he wants to come back and coach there.
What's that all about?
Well, Greg Schiano wants a private plane. He wants like $100 million a year. He's got a pretty high opinion of himself. So people are saying that they should get rid of the AD, bring back the Schiano man, and restore Rutgers to their former glory.
Schiano Man, one of the greatest songs I've ever witnessed in person and got a chance to sing along with the Pardon My Take guys, PFT and Big Cat. Schiano Man is a guy who, whenever he was in the NFL, was calling for people to cut offensive linemen during the kneel play. He was a guy that was hiding behind poles after losses to see who was smiling coming in the locker room, then would punish them both financially and physically for that. Schiano is a guy that has a lot of interesting twerks, but Rutgers has not been good since he left. So maybe he is in the right for telling Rutgers, if you want me to come back to this place that seems to not have a lot of sun, not have a lot of success. We're in the Big Ten. A lot of people have been bashing the Rutgers in the Big Ten for being a bunch of bums. I'm going to need a few things. First things first, private plane. For recruiting, no way. For my family to get the hell out of New Jersey. Then he wants a lot of money. Hey, he's going to need it if he wants to flip a school around. Also, these types of conversations that happen with ADs between coaches is 100% the reason why I'm thinking about coming back and being a college coach in about 10 years from now. I never in my life thought about coaching until I started meeting with these coaches and I started seeing their offices and their rebuilds and the things they got going on. I'm like, this seems like a pretty good time here. You just have an entire university basically at your whim, whatever you want to do. And if you win, you can demand even more. And Schiano did that at Rutgers, so that's why he can do that. But Rutgers football team stinks. DJ Yoshi, though, on the sideline, the first sideline DJ in college football, plays nothing but bangers. I hope they get well. I hope they do well. Hashtag Fire Hobbs was trending this morning, though. Had to see why.
Also, don't know if you heard about this, but people are saying that pizza mogul Papa John Schnatter has an absolute bombshell that he's waiting to drop that's going to restore his legacy.
How? What happened? Is he saying that somebody did a voiceover of him on that phone?
Perhaps. From what he did an interview, a local interview, and from the sound of it, it kind of seems like his big bombshell is that the guy who is currently running Papa John's just doesn't know pizza. I don't know how much of a bombshell that is.
Shaq? He said Shaq doesn't know pizza? I'm looking at Shaq one time. I'm saying that guy's had a few pizzas.
Who is running the company now?
Nobody knows. Not a pizza guy, obviously.
Yeah. Papa John has had 40 pizzas in the last 30 days, and guess what? Not better ingredients, not better pizza anymore.
Oh. Well, no. Hey, Papa, when you were running that thing, if I had 40 of your stupid pizzas in 30 days, I'd probably hate the pizza, too. Jeez.
40 pizzas in the last 30 days. Livy currently and Mark Shapiro should be in jail. He has no pizza experience. He's never been in the pizza category.
Yeah.
I would just say stay tuned. The day of reckoning will come. The record will be straight.
Why not set the record straight now? I mean, what is it about the record that's not straight?
Stay tuned.
Day of reckoning.
Is his voice completely different?
Well, he's high on heroin.
40 pizza.
Whoa! Wait, you're going to get a run.
Is Mark Shapiro the dude who was fun in Miami football?
No.
That was Nevin Shapiro.
Tough last name.
Let's go to Tommy in Cleveland. Tommy, what's going on, pal?
Hey, Pat, how's it going?
I'm excellent. How are you, Tommy?
I'm doing great, man. I got two questions for you. Number one, all right, the Brownies, they're starting to roll a little bit. But, our young kicker, Austin Seibert, he struggled a little bit. He's missed 3 straight. What is it about kicking in Cleveland in the cold that's so doggone hard?
Well, I think you just nailed both of them there, at Cleveland and the cold. I mean, it could be a bit breezy. It's a little bit chilly, so it's not as easy as it could potentially be in a place that has high humidity and is warm and is calm. Wind is the enemy to kicking and to punting. I like to put it like this. Walk up to a urinal, start to pee, and then have somebody get an exhaust fan, blow that thing next to you, and try to get your pee into the urinal. That's what it's like to kick. That's why every single time Jim Irsay, Pete Ward, and everybody at the Colts wanted to open the window of the stadium and the roof of the stadium, and it would become a wind tunnel. We'd be like, is there no way we could just keep the window closed? And it'd be like, oh, it's just a little breezy. You'll be able to deal with it. Oh, I'll be able to deal with it. It'd be nice if there was no wind. And I bet you Austin's thinking the same exact thing. He had a great start, though. Didn't look great in preseason. When the season started, he got very hot. Every once in a while, a rookie can run into a rookie wall where you get kind of tired. He's been kicking balls not only his senior year at Oklahoma, then for training for the Combine, then in OTAs, then training camp, now a season. That leg has been taking a lot. He could be a little bit tired, and whenever your leg gets tired, it slows down, which can be tough to be as accurate as you once were. He'll have to deal with that and kind of battle through that, which I think he will.
Gotcha. My other question for you is Pat or anybody else in the crew, you ever been hunting?
Yeah, I actually killed a deer without shooting it. It's a true story. Robert in Montreal, bonjour, ça va?
How's it going, man?
Hey, ça va bien? Et tu?
Vraiment bien, mon ami.
Oui,
I
oui,
got
oui.
one thing I got to ask.
Go on.
After the complete and utter dominance of NXT at Survivor Series this Sunday,
hell yeah.
How long is it until we get rid of the Elimination Chambers, the Extreme Rules, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-views, and we just replace them with NXT takeovers?
Not a bad thought there. NXT takeovers, by the way, NXT is the third brand that is being built right now by the WWE. It's been in existence for years as a feeder system, but now it's become its own brand, and it's electrifying the world. It's the brand that allowed me to have an open mic in an arena for 2 minutes. It's run by Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Mr. H, Paul, whatever you want to call him. And if you ever get a chance to watch the takeovers that are normally the day before WWE pay-per-views, it is pandemonium, to say the least. This past time, a guy named Ciampa took a dude named Adam Cole off of a 21-foot cage off the top of it, him strapped around his back, jumps up and goes through 2 tables. That's how the show ended. I mean, it's insanity. The athleticism is next level. Storytelling is beautiful. And honestly, if you haven't checked out NXT yet, you should. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, I think the athleticism is something you'll go, damn. Damn. And every once in a while, I'll pop in there and be like, ladies and gentlemen. John in New Jersey, down there. John, how's it going?
Hey, guys. How's it going, man? How's it going? Hey, I just want to say I am so thankful for you guys and the boys. I just want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving because the 2 hours you guys are on the radio are the best 2 hours of their day.
Hey! Thank you. John, we appreciate you, buddy.
Hey, here's my quick question for you guys. Okay, Greg Roman was the former offensive coordinator in San Francisco when they went to the Super Bowl. And he had Colin Kaepernick, who is not at all like Lamar Jackson, but very similar. Will the Patriots, do you think possibly when they were setting up to go against them in the championship game, do you think they'd bring Colin Kaepernick in and let him be like the scout, like the scout quarterback to practice against him? Because, I mean, speed, he's got the speed and he's got the mobility. And he's very familiar with all the stuff that Greg Roman did with him in San Francisco. What do you think?
I like it, John. We actually said, by we, I mean Nick actually said whenever that Colin Kaepernick workout was coming to be, he said he thought it was potentially Belichick, who just shortly beforehand faced Lamar Jackson and said, well, how are we going to stop him? Let's bring in Colin Kaepernick. He's the one that actually wanted it potentially. I don't know if you remember, by the way, the ins and outs of a system whenever you've been 3 years removed from something, by the way. I haven't been with the Colts for, 2 years, and I already forget a lot of this stuff. Now, granted, Colin Kaepernick would be a great guy that you could put on your scout team to get a good read on. I would not put it past Belichick, but I think they're going to be looking for somebody who's the fastest, quickest, throw better. I don't know how you prepare for the guy. Colin Kaepernick, not a bad play, though. We thought the same exact thing, John, in New Jersey. Pat up there in Boston. What's going on, Pat?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, the Irish in Boston have been up to some stuff. I assume your name's Pat. You're in Boston. I assume you have some histories of some sort of crime.
I'm also half Sicilian too. So.
Oh! Okay, Pat, I respect it. What's going on, bud?
Okay, so my question to you is, so we've been hearing a lot of rumblings that Jonathan Kraft has backdoor channeled a communication little log with Antonio Brown for him to come out on social media to publicly apologize to his father. That's what's swirling around up here. I didn't know, A, if you've ever heard of that before, and B, have you ever heard of just a son going behind his father's back and pretty much stabbing him? You know what I mean?
Judas. It's for the good of the team.
Yo, that's wicked clever, though. Hey, that's wicked clever. You know what I mean? He's reaching out to him. He's like, listen, you really pissed off my dad, dude. We need you. Everybody knows that we need you. But that stuff you said about my dad, we just can't have it. Wicked bad stuff, dude. You said wicked bad stuff. Maybe send out a tweet. Maybe extend an olive branch. Maybe we can get you back for a good playoff run. And by the way, stay in shape. Don't burn your feet. Stay out of hot air balloons, and let's get rolling. That's interesting, though, because if it's good for the business, right, you'd think your dad, especially Kraft, would be happy about it. Mm-hmm. But, boy, that would be a hilarious conversation for Kraft to call him in. You've been texting with Antonio Brown? Well, he apologized, didn't he? Yeah. Trevor in Arizona, what's going on, pal?
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm just hanging out. A couple minutes left here on this beautiful Tuesday. Probably going to take a little bit of a nap this afternoon. Haven't taken one of those in the last 3 months, so I'm excited about it. How are you, Trevor? Just hit myself in the balls with that. What's going on, man?
I'm doing good. I wanted to give you a few things to think about. You know, obviously we've been talking about Lamar Jackson and how you stop him, and also like the 49ers defensive line. Honestly, if you go back and look at the Steelers games played against both of them, I think people might be able to get some good film from that on how you stop them, because it was easily like Lamar Jackson's worst game that he's had this season so far, with like the 3 picks, and I mean he still ran like 70 yards on him on like 15 carries, but they had like 5 or 6 sacks on him. And then against the 49ers D-line, they only allowed the 2 sacks. And obviously the Steelers defense balled out, but, I mean, without Ben or even Ducky Hodges, they weren't able to pull away.
Trevor, that's a good call.
But I think
that's a good call, though, by Trevor there. But I don't remember. I can't hang up on. There he is. I don't remember if that was when they were using him like Lamar now or back whenever they were trying to figure out what he was.
It was early.
Yeah, so they didn't know him yet. I think that's a little bit different, although that Steelers D-line doesn't get enough credit. Eddie in Chicago, what's going on?
Helicopter.
Hey, I was just wondering, do you think the Bears have any chance of making it to the playoffs?
Yes, sir.
No.
They're done.
I don't think so. 30 seconds left on this beautiful Tuesday, November 26th. Shout out to Eddie and all the callers there. We had a blast today. Cal Van Noy, Tony Dungy. Nice Tuesday day of talking sports from Indianapolis, Indiana. Podcast is out. Good conversation about life. We can't wait to chat with you tomorrow. We'll be back in Indiana. You're the absolute best. No clue why you listen, but you do. This has been the Pat McAfee Show.